All right, this time we're going to be talking about raid weapons. As a PvP player, some of the perks I want to see. We already talked about dungeon perks. This time we're going to talk about raids. The first raid we're going to be talking about, the Last Wish. Now, Last Wish was interesting because I think it was the first time in Destiny 2 that we saw double damage perks on weapons. Chattering Bone and Transfiguration both got Kill Clip Rampage. I would like to see a continuation of the same. Maybe some of the damage perks that came after this raid, like Desperate Measure, Swashbuckler, that type of stuff. Moving on, let's go to the next weapon, Techian Force. Now, this fusion was a monster. However, it has been power crept by Discord fusion rifles. I would like to see Discord in the third column. Maybe an accuracy perk like Keep Away also in the third column. This fusion has always been a monster, and with the buff of Rangefinder, it got even better. Moving on to the next raid, Garden of Salvation. Now, quick note with Garden. I would like to know what enhanced photo inhibition looks like. This perk is outstanding. It was one of the best PvP perks. Zealous Reward was one of the only rapid-fire fusions to be able to kill a Warlock in a Rift, with exception to Scatter Signal with Under Over. This doesn't inherently because of photo inhibition. I want to know what enhanced photo inhibition does. Maybe it does even more damage. That'd be incredible. Alright, with Zealous Reward, I want Keep Away in the third column as well. I would not give this fusion Discord. This is an already outstanding fusion. I think it was given some secret sauce in its coding. It just snipes people. It's absolutely incredible. But photo inhibition, something to keep an eye out for on the Pulse Rifle, Sniper Rifle, and Zealots. Alright, moving on. Deepstone Crypt Trusty, which is the rapid-fire solar scout rifle. Give it precision instrument. That's it. That's the only note I have on it, so it could 4-tap. Now we have a solar rapid-fire scout rifle that's viable to use. Alright. Next weapon, Heritage. Now, Heritage is a stat monster. Slugs come in one of two archetypes. High handling, low aim assist. High aim assist, low handling. Heritage has both. It breaks the archetype. It is completely out of band with its stats. Give it Lone Wolf, give it Opening Shot, call it a day. Make it literally Kinetic Inquisitor. Not much to say about slugs. I would not give this Discord. There's one other slug in the game that has Discord. I would not choose this to be the slug that gets Discord, but we'll move on to that a little later. Succession, which is the high impact sniper rifle. Now, there's two versions of Succession. The raid version and the Into the Light version. For PvP, use the Into the Light version. It has Snapshot and it has Discord. Keep both of these perks. This gun is outstanding. Probably best in slot. Give it Vorpal Swap so I could kill supers. Absolutely incredible weapon. Moving on. Next raid, Vault of Glass. We have Fatebringer. One note with Fatebringer. Keep Explosive Payload in third. Keep Elemental Honing in fourth. Keep Precision Instrument in fourth. With Precision Instrument, you are able to counteract the Explosive Payload damage reduction, which means you are then able to 3-tap at its appropriate range for a 140 hand cannon. Keep those two perks together. Very important. This is going to be a stat monster as a tier 5. It already is a stat monster with the Adept version. Alright, moving on. Found Verdict. Now, Found Verdict is an incredible shotgun. It has all the perks you want. Discord, Threat Detector in third, Opening Shot in fourth. I want to see Closing Time in the fourth column, because with Closing Time and Threat Detector, you have two handling scalers together, as well as two flat-out handling increases. This shotgun is snappier than any shotgun in the game, more than precision frames, and more consistent, ever since they buffed aggressive frames. I want Energy Astral Horizon, essentially. With a Discord swap in third column, it will be best in slot. Alright, moving on. King's Fall. King's Fall has 3 guns. First, Defiance of Yasmin, an incredibly feeling sniper rifle. I would give Discord in the fourth column. This already has to compete with Succession, and arguably it's a little worse in Succession because Succession could kill supers with Vorpal. I would just add Discord. This sniper is incredibly feeling. Really, really good to use. All right, next gun, Smiter Moraine, the Adaptive Kinetic Pulse Rifle. Adaptive Pulse Rifles kind of suck. Smiter Moraine, I used it quite a bit. It is terrible. The only adaptive pulse rifle worth using is Last Thursday because this can 2-burst at neutral with elemental honing and weapon stat. What I would do to Smiter Moraine is also give it elemental honing. However, Smite is a kinetic weapon, which means it needs a second elemental damage source for elemental honing to work. So it can't technically 2-burst at neutral like Last Thursday does. However, once you hit that second source, you potentially can 2-burst without weapon stat. Potentially. I would need to look up the numbers, and if not, it would be a little bit of weapon stat. Because the elemental honing damage on kinetic weapons is higher than on elemental weapons like this Strand Pulse Rifle, for example. I don't think you'll be out of band. If this is allowed, and this is fine according to Bungie, then I think that will be fine using that same logic. Alright, moving on. Next weapon from King's Paw, Mida's Reckoning. It is a very mid fusion rifle. Something simple I'll do with it. Give it Discord in this column, give it backup plan in this column. It already gets backup plan successful warm-up, which is unique to that fusion. I would give it Discord backup plan, which would be unique to any fusion in the game. You have that quick swap once you get Discord procced, the quick charge from backup plan, and then the ammo refund from Discord. I think could be pretty unique, pretty cool. All right, moving on. Vow the Disciple has 2 guns, or I have 2 notes on 2 guns. Deliverance, the precision frame fusion rifle. Once again, I would give it Discord. It already has to compete with pressurized precision. And pressurized is way better because of Skulking Wolf. It will never beat pressurized. However, if you give it Discord, you give it tap the trigger. Now you have a precision frame fusion rifle that potentially has infinite ammo in PvP. Precision frames aren't that good. Adaptive frames are better anyway. May as well give it Discord. Moving on. Submission also has to compete with another Iron Banner weapon. It has to compete with Multi-Mach. Multi-Mach is the best SMG in the game. It has Kinetic Tremors, it's a lightweight frame, and Skulking Wolf. Submission does not have any of those things. So, what I would do for Submission, because it is a kinetic weapon, I would give it Elemental Honing. Elemental Honing on a kinetic weapon, once again, needs a second source of elemental damage to get a pretty big damage buff for a pretty long time. With Elemental Honing on that gun, it has potential to beat Multi-Mach. Potential. Granted, it won't have Skulking Wolf, it won't have Kinetic Tremors, and won't have Rangefinder. I would give it Rangefinder, Elemental Honing. And then it has potential. Moving on to the next raid. Root of Nightmares has 1 gun with potential. Nessa's Oblation. Pretty simple. I mean, I don't know what else to say about slugs other than Lone Wolf Opening Shot. However, what I would do is not give it Lone Wolf Opening Shot. I would give it Discord Opening Shot. Currently in the game, there is 1 other slug with Discord and Opening Shot. Sojourner's Tale. It is unobtainable. Well, technically you could get it from Xur if you pray to Orange Jesus, because there's no way in hell you're getting this perk combination from Xur with his loot pool. Make it earnable. Make it in Nessa's Oblation. This is, honestly, this is probably the best in-slot slug, just because of Discord. It is incredible. It is a monster. You have infinite ammo in PvP. Alright, moving on. Crota's End. Crota's End already has some really damn good guns. Oversoul Edict, which is the rapid-fire pulse rifle. I would keep the damage perks, Swash and Sword Logic, and I would give it Zen Moment in this column. Now, the only thing with this gun is it has to compete with Horror's Least, which has Zen Moment kill clip. However, Oversoul Edict is better because it's craftable. You don't have to pray to Orange Jesus for getting a good roll. So you could just craft your own. The only thing this has over it is Zen Moment, so I'd give it Zen Moment. Alright, next gun. Fang of Irute and Abyss Defiant are already outstanding. They're fan favorites. People use the shit out of Fang of Irute because they can 4-tap, cross the map. Abyss Defiant, keep Zen Moment, keep Heal Clip, keep Sword Logic, keep Target Lock. Nothing else to say about those guns. Alright, the last raid, Salvation's Edge, has one gun, I think. And that gun is Imminence. Imminence is outstanding. However, I think it's power crept with the introduction of Immortal, because Immortal has... Oh, it's on me. Immortal has Elemental Honing and Slice and Target Lock. I could swap if I want. The only thing Imminence has over Immortal is that it's a lightweight frame. So what I would do is also give it Elemental Honing. So now it could compete. Now it is better than Immortal with Slice and with Elemental Honing for the +2 to mobility stat. The only thing with Immortal is it would have other perk combinations. For example, you know, Rangefinder and Master of Arms, or Rangefinder, Elemental Honing. I would just keep Slice, Elemental Honing, make them a bit different from each other, but this with the +2 lightweight frame bonus. All right, that is it for raid weapons. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.